This is where I eat, sleep, and fuck with music heavily. As you can see, I got the keyboard blocking the outboard gear. I'm not going to be using any of that today. I'm all in the box, which means I will be in the laptop using digital plugins. I'm going to go ahead and open up a Pro Tools session right here if you want to come take a look at what I'm doing. So I just got the little mini interface, taking MIDI from the Alesis, and then I'm going to get a session going and then we'll be straight. What's today, Halloween? Normally I start off with 7 instrument tracks. You say, Conscious, why 7? I say, why fucking not? And then I'll normally put up like 3 mono audio tracks and like 8 stereo audio tracks. Same reasoning behind those. No, it's just some of my drum samples are mono, some are stereo, most of them are stereo, so I'll do like 3 mono, 8 stereo, so I can just drag and drop. I know a lot of people like to make beats in Logic or FL Studio and stuff. I prefer Pro Tools, one, because I'm certified in Pro Tools and I love it, and I feel like there's more automation control and I'm more familiar with the quick keys, and that's just why I do it. I got all my plugins. I got all my RTAS plugins, and yeah, it doesn't really have a sequencer for samples per se, but I like placing them where they need to go. I'll just set up the grid to like 8th note or 16th note, and then when I get to the hi-hats, like 64, 32, that kind of stuff. So I'll set up a little metro right now, pick out like a beat speed and stiff. I've been wanting to make something a little faster, not like super electro dance, but normally I've been sticking to like the 140, 70 for like a trap beat type of speed. I'm probably going to pick it up to about maybe like a 85 or a 90, but you know, sometimes that sticks, sometimes it doesn't, so we'll just see. So I'll go with like an 86, so that would translate to 172 BPM. The reason a lot of producers double up on the speed for the BPM is so that on their grid they can have more control. Like the 64th note is actually like a 128th note. Like it's you can do more that way. So this is what it's gonna sound like. So you can kind of hear that going. And that's gonna get annoying after a while until I really get like the snare and the hi-hat, and then I can take that out and we'll be all good. A lot of people always ask me, like, how do you start a beat? And I always have a different answer. It's always like, it depends on why, like, what the inspiration is for the day. Sometimes it'll be a bass line, like a boom, boom, boom. You know, I just have something in my head that I want to build from. Sometimes it'll be like a piano melody, like if I hear something on the radio that's dope and I want to be like, oh dude, I should put that like this, but then change this and then do that. So it just really depends like what kind of mood I'm in or what I'm looking to do. So right now I don't really have anything on my mind. So sometimes the best thing to start with when I don't have anything on my mind is just like a simple piano. Like just get some nice chords. So Pro Tools has a nice stock plugin called the Mini Grand, and they have some nice presets, so I'm going to go ahead and use that one. My favorite preset is the Empty Stadium Ambiance. I turned down the dynamic response a little bit, which is basically how hard you have to press a key for it to, like, versus soft. You turn down the dynamic response and the velocity tends to be higher on all the notes you play. And turn down the mix a little bit because the stock reverb in the Mini Grand is a little bit muddy, so I don't like to really mess with that too much. So you will see me cheat a little bit right now because I have a list of all the chords and scales and keys and stuff like that. So I'll pretty much find like the notes I want to use, and then I'll go from there. Usually I go with like a low chord, and then I'll build from there. Let's see. Alright, so I found my keys that I'm going to use, so I'm going to record them. A lot of my producer engineer buddies are probably thinking, Conscious, why don't you just use a MIDI trigger and record as soon as you hit your first keys? And I said, well, producer engineer buddies, my pitch shift wheel is kind of funky, so it's constantly sending MIDI signal into my Pro Tools. So even if I tried to do that, it would start recording immediately. That's why. Get off my ass. Alright, so now what do I like to do? I like to basically stack the peak of the song all at once, and then I can arrange the beat from there. So I'll get like basically like where the chorus and everything is all coming together all at the same time, like the most the massive part of the song where all the instruments are going at the same time. I like to build that initially, and then I can space it out and arrange the beat from there. So a trick I like to do is when I take like a low piano like that, that's a like a kind of like a good foundation for the sound. Then I'll go straight from the bottom to the top. I'll go straight from the bottom like that to the lead. I like to put like a real dope synth that matches the exact same sound of that foundation to kind of bring it life. So let me see. And one of my favorite synths to use is the Saw Stack 2 and the Hard Leads folder and the Expand 2 plugin for Pro Tools. It's got like the most classic sound to it. So now, a lot of you guys are probably sitting there thinking, Conscious Pilot. Isn't that the guy with the crazy looking mohawk from the Nitty Battle? Yeah, I'm the fucking guy from the crazy looking mohawk from the Nitty Battle. But like that mohawk, it was once a baby mohawk. And it wasn't as awesome as it was before. Fuck you and your judgmental waves. Itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Come on, kids. Music can be fun. Don't shoot spit wads at your band teacher just because she's got huge glasses on. She's a beast. Jenny Post was my band teacher name. I played the saxophone, and I can still play it today. And a lot of people are impressed with that. So I'm not a nerd. I could get bitches if I wanted to. I just am too busy in the studio. A lot of people are like, Conscious, you're not a totally ugly looking dude most days. Where are all the bitches at? And I'm like, they're waiting for me in my future. When I'm rich and I have time for them. That's where they're at. Alright, so now that I got the low piano, I'm going to go ahead and mute that lead that we did. And I'm going to keep talking with the cigarette in my mouth because I feel like a straight Bogart right now. You know, a lot of times in a beat you'll have things that you can barely even hear, or if you tried to tell people, like if someone played you a dope beat and you're like, oh my god, that's so dope, everything just sounds good, and they'd be like, alright, well, what did you hear? They'll be like, I don't know, I just loved it. That's because there's things low in the mix that you can't even point out, but they're there enough to where you can feel them. You can hear them, but you more just feel them. And that's going to be one of those type of tracks right there. Smoke break, soda break, shit break. Back to the beat. Alright, so I've given myself a basis of a hi-hat arrangement, and I've thrown in a snare. So something like that would be good. This is where a lot of experimenting comes into play, like with the bum bum bum. That's, you know, I played that in thirds, so I'm gonna have to. Sometimes I'll stick with that arrangement with the kick, so it'll be like that. That's without it, and then this is with it. So it just brightens it up a whole lot. And then with the kick, I'll do like parallel compression, which is basically, I was just talking about this with Chase Moore the other day. Shout out to Chase Moore, Oxbus Gang. So that's without it. Another thing with the hi-hats, I'll take out pretty much everything below, what's it, like 3K, 2K. I'll put a high-pass filter on the hi-hats and boost at like 10K. Actually, like 6K is where it starts. Huh? What? Hey.
This gotta be A1 prize winner.
Oh my god.
Tonight.
You're gonna eat shit and die.
I know.
Roller
You
ring.
gotta get this on picture. We're not
no.
Oh my god.
You gotta get it on picture.
No, I'm gonna go get different socks and stuff, and then do my makeup like the roller chicks. And then get some.
Yeah, as long as you don't die. Alright, so you heard all the instruments that I was going with when I was making the beat. I'm going to play the beat now just so you can see how I put everything together. I hope you enjoyed this video. I never know what's gonna come out when I make a beat, so it just I picture this being like an R&B, maybe like a rapper feature on it, but like a up-tempo, like with a singer on it or something like that. But sometimes, you know, I'll get like different type of bangers and stuff like that. I'll do this like 4 times a day, and then maybe like out of those 4 I'll get like a super banger. It's just crazy. I would probably put this at like, I don't know, maybe like a 5 out of 10 on my personal scale. But I mean, I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, man, trip out.
Sir.